This is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com with another episode of Fast Action Fridays. Today, my special guest is Brook Borup, a fellow Michigander who has gone south to Florida. Brook is an expert and an owner of a team that offers a variety of assistant skills and services to busy entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. Right? Did I get that right?
You did get that right.
Tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so My Clone Solution is the name of my company, and we have now been in business 7 years, and we're growing our team of skilled professionals that are here to specifically help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. You know, in a big company dynamic, there's all of these levels of help. Right. And in our own businesses as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, going at it, freelancers, we don't have that until we decide that we want to build it so that we don't have to do everything ourselves, because we were never meant to ever wear all of the hats, as people say. And so I've put together this company that not only can elevate the entrepreneur and solopreneur to a real business with a team and an exit strategy that can scale, but it also provides a home for what we call entrepreneurs that are really amazing employees. They don't want to do the sales, they just want to do the work. And entrepreneurs are what we all need as entrepreneurs in order to support us. And I want to make sure that our entrepreneurs are supported too. So I've created a home for them.
I love that, because one of the things I have done as a business life mentor is actually help people realize that they don't want to be in business for themselves. It's great for those who do. And you don't always need to have a team and grow big to have a business. But some people don't want the responsibility or the dynamics of what comes with being a business owner. They want to do exactly what you described. They've got a skill set. They want to be valued and paid for providing that skill, but they want somebody else to be the business owner.
Yep, absolutely. Really, it's kind of the majority of my clients, right? They want to say they own a business. They want to do what they do well. And the rest, as a business owner, needs to get done.
Right.
And, you know, but if they don't have the time or the skill set or the want to do it, then they need to have a trustworthy team behind them that has the skills to be able to make it happen.
And I know from my personal experience of having grown up with the mentality that you do everything yourself that you can. Then I married into a farming family, and we didn't have hired help. We did the milking, we did the crop growing, we did, everything involved with that. We had no outside hired help, except maybe a teenage boy or two during the summer to help with the hay or the straw, until our kids were old enough to help with that. And it was really frowned upon to get outside help. I know it took me for years before I convinced the family to hire out the wrapping of an animal we butchered. I mean, we did all of our own butchering and wrapping of the meat and the cutting, and it was getting just to be too much for a lot of us. So I know what that mentality is like. And I'm a techie gal. I like the techie work, but I know I'm ready to hand some of that off, because there are other areas of my business that I like to do more. And I can't handle that and all of the tech anymore and be in my happy place. And I think that's true for a lot of solopreneurs or those who are building a business from their home base. There's going to come a point where you either want to outsource the bookkeeping or video or an audio production or social media management. And then there are certain aspects of that you really enjoy doing? Like, I enjoy doing graphics. I'm not a graphic expert, but I've had graphics training. I'm pretty good at it. And I like to keep my hands in that. What is your advice to someone like me who is ready to hand off some things? Where do we look to see what it is that we want to hand off? What questions do we ask ourselves and of agencies or individuals that we are considering hiring?
All right. So always start with yourself, because if you don't know what you do on a daily basis, no one else can do it for you, right? That's the number one thing. So I'm going to put on my personal trainer hat here a moment, because almost everybody at some point has thought about hiring a personal trainer or a nutrition coach, or they were put on a diet or whatever. And so at some point, somebody has said, I'm going to need for you to write down everything that goes in your mouth, or every exercise you do this week, or how many times you do X, right? This is what we call a journal. And in that journal for 7 days, I want you to write down, as if you're an attorney, write down every 15 minutes what you accomplish or what you do. And it doesn't need to be elaborate. It can be, I woke up at 7 a.m. I went to the gym. I came back and showered. I got to my desk at 8:30 and I checked emails for 30 minutes. Like, that's what we're looking to have accomplished here, because then we're going to be able to see where you spend your time and why you're not able to get to the things that you want to get to. Because all of the business gets in the way. And then from there, we can then go through and do what I call the hoarder game. So for all of you out there who have ever seen the show Hoarders, or, any of those like clean up your house shows, there are 3 blankets. There is the blanket of stuff that we need to automate, or that we can automate. There's the blanket of the stuff that we're doing that we don't need to be doing. And there is the blanket of stuff that you and only you can do because it's your superpower. And we go through and we highlight that 7-day journal with 3 different color highlighters, so that we can see how much you're working below your pay grade, i.e., can you get help for this? Can we take it off your plate altogether because it's not necessary, or it can be automated? And then what is it that you need to be spending your time doing, because no one can do it as good as you, at least yet.
Exactly. And a lot of people would say, well, I can't afford to hire help. And that can be absolutely true. Mm-hmm. The goal is to get yourself in a position where hiring help helps you earn more money.
Yes.
Isn't that the final goal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It comes, we have this term called opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is what you are giving up to do what you are doing, or what that decision is that you're going to choose to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm having an interview here today. Right? And my opportunity cost could be a whole list of other things. I could be making client calls. I could be working on client work. I could be training staff. I could be. But I'm here having an interview today because my opportunity cost of what I'm getting from this interview is greater than the other things. Mm-hmm. Right? So we make those decisions based on opportunity cost. Now, if I told you that I could automate and delegate 80% of everything that you do in your daily life right now for your business, would you be willing to give me money to make that happen, so that you can then get 80% of your time back?
And use that time you get back for
to
money
then go
making
make money
projects. Like,
yep.
I can't hire someone, or I don't want to hire someone to actually coach my private clients. That's something they hire me to do that I love to do. And I use an individual approach. So there's no system that I'm going to teach someone else to coach those people like I would coach them. So
Correct.
that is something I cannot hand off to somebody else. But when it comes to something like my Fast Action Friday interviews, I have greatly reduced the time it takes to set them up, because now I use a form, an intake form that gives me all of the basic information from my featured guests ahead of time, which in turn makes it easy to produce or create the accompanying blog post.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
All right. Can you give us some additional tips for someone who's never hired help before and is, making some money? We've already talked about making sure you understand what you're doing in your business every day. And I know that's an eye opener. A lot of times we don't want to do that because we like to hide in that pseudo procrastination. I didn't have time.
Yes.
And it's really a pseudo. I had plenty of time to get it done. I just didn't get it done. Then a job of a coach, sometimes you, sometimes me, goes in and we investigate, why are you avoiding these things? Or you spent all of this time doing X with your business, but none of that was going to produce any additional income. I'm going to make a fancier, prettier website. Is that where your clients are coming from? It's like,
Correct.
if it's not, that's not where you want to be spending all your time.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So you're the featured guest here. What other tips do you have for someone who is just starting to think, would it be advantageous for me to hire somebody to help with something?
Right. So business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs hire people from day one, right? So I need a website. So they go and they hire a website designer. And then they need a coach. They go and hire a coach. They need someone to, and here's my favorite one, clean their house. Right? So if you don't think that you can hire someone, no, you already have. You already paid for a service. It's just not a consistent service, right? And so this someone that you hire doesn't necessarily need to come on full time and take an entire salary from you on day one. But you do need to be able to manage them. You need to know what you need from them and how you need it. And so that's where my tips are coming in from today. So when you think, all right, I'm going to want to have help in the future, right? I'm going to want to get there because no, I don't want to work every day in my business doing all of these things, right? And I'm procrastinating because I don't like doing social media. So I don't post. And I don't like writing emails, so I don't do it. I don't like going out and selling, and so I don't do it. I don't do follow-up, which, you have to, it's sales. But all of these things are things that are just holding you back, and we don't want you to be held back. So from here, we have our list of things we're procrastinating on, and we have all of these things. So when you have to go do them, let's just say it's your book work, right? You want to know how much money you made this month. And so you have to go and you have to reconcile your books and you have to categorize things and you have to do all of this. So I say, when you do it, you need to screen record. So there are lots of tools out there that allow you to do this. Zoom is one of them. And I want you to screen record and talk your way through it as if you're teaching a 5-year-old what you're doing.
So you're basically recording the steps you do yourself to do that particular activity, yes. That task.
Yep, absolutely. And then once you have that recording done, save it someplace safe, like a Dropbox folder, and we're going to call these standard operating procedures, or SOPs, right? Every big corporation has them. There's no reason a little corporation shouldn't have them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to name it QuickBooks Reconciliation. You can put a date with it if you want to, because sometimes these things change. Then you put a time to it. So if it took you say for instance, an hour to do that QuickBooks reconciliation, then you can say 1 hour. And you can say, I do 1 hour worth of reconciliation every single month, and I have to do it on, say, the 5th, because my statement comes out on the 1st, and there's no point in doing it any other time, right? Mm-hmm. So from here, we put that on our calendar as a task that needs to be done on the 5th, and we link to the video, and we put that hour into the calendar. So what this does for us is it starts creating your job description for the person or the people that you want to hire. If you hire an agency like mine, we can come in and based on our different specialties, we can handle almost everything on that list, right? And that's you beginning to see how much time you could alleviate from yourself and what type of person or people you need to have in your life when you're ready to outsource.
I want to give another example of exactly what you described. I've been doing my Fast Action Friday interviews for quite a while. So I actually started them, I think it was April 4th, 2014, audio only, then to Blab, then to Zoom, and now pre-recorded, where in the past we did them live. We already talked about a form I use to automate getting the basic information from my guest. But there is a system I use to take that information to create the draft for the blog post. And I have started doing exactly what you described, where I videotape myself, record myself saying, this section goes here, this section goes here. And I've even have a couple like introductory paragraphs that only I can really write at this point, because that's that personal connection. But I don't have to be doing all of that myself. Somebody else could be setting up that draft post for me. And then I just need to go and do a few tweaks and decide when we want it to run. So This is exactly what you're describing. Take something that you're already doing on a regular basis, record yourself, the steps you take to do that. Because that's one of my SOPs, one of my standard operating procedures. This is how I like it done. And I've learned over time how I want it done. And I want to hire somebody who does it the same way, so I get that consistent look. I'm also open to hiring somebody to help with that and saying, I have an idea to either automate this more or streamline this a little bit better. Is that something that we can expect from someone skilled in a task?
Yes. So that's a great segue into this, because I was thinking the exact same thing. So I've worked on a lot of podcasts, right? And so with a podcast, you have to find the guest. Then you have to get all of the information from the guest and get them scheduled and have them record. Then you have to get them the information so that they can go and push it out to their social media and their email. And you have to do the same thing from a marketing perspective. Someone's got to upload it. It's got to go on the website. It's got to have show notes created. There's editing, all of this different stuff, right? So there's so many stuff. Graphics. Yeah, there's so many tasks. And so I had a process coach that I was working with. And so luckily he does processes for a living. And so him and I put together this process for his podcast so that it could be outsourced to his virtual assistant in the Philippines. And so the tech that comes along with this, once it's set up, then all you have to do is do the final look over it. So if you have systems that can be integrated, and remember I said 80% automated, delegated. So depending on what your business is, there's, it's not always 40% automation, 40% delegation, but in most digital agencies, it's at least 40% that we can automate, which means that's a one-time cost versus an hourly cost. So if we can automate your business first and then set you up for delegation at the same time, awesome. And so with this process that I was talking about, so we have WordPress, Gravity Forms connected to ActiveCampaign. That is not the only stack that you can use for this, but it's there. And so what we did is we had the application to be a guest on the website. That could be filled out by invitation, or it could be filled out by finding it on the website, depending on whether he wanted to do that interview for free or not, because he was monetizing. And so when somebody filled out that application, it automatically went over into his CRM system, which is ActiveCampaign, and there was a whole funnel of stuff that happened. So it was both internal tasks that the team that would have been delegated at some point, and it was stuff that happened automatically. And WordPress and Gravity Forms has this cool little tool where when you set it up, it'll automatically put everything in the blog post for you. So instead of having to pay someone to go and put things in different sections, it automatically happens and puts it in draft mode so that Kat can go in and write her couple of paragraphs, check everything over, because us guests, we screw up too. We're human. We spell things wrong. And, you don't want anything spelled wrong on your website. So you proof it. And then when you're ready, you upload your custom graphic. Bloop, done. Right? The pictures are there. The copy is there. Everything is there. And now your assistant can go in and have your template in Canva that gives you the pictures and stuff for all of your graphics that you want for marketing, and put them in a Dropbox folder that is linked inside the email sequence. So when I, as the guest, get the message that says, here are all your custom graphics and copy to go and promote your episode, I already have it done. And, for those of you who are in this events-driven world, and you work with speakers all the time and affiliates, you have to give them everything. Because if you don't, it's not going to be marketed. It's not going to be publicized. Nobody wants to do the work for you. And if you don't do that work for them, you don't get the marketability, and your show doesn't go as far as you need it to go.
Also, if you're not supplying them with the graphics and some of the ideas for the copy, you're not being consistent in your branding with what they send out.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have, I don't have it as deeply automated as you just described, but my guests do get, a copy of the graphics that's done, because I do have a template done in Canva. It takes me, I don't know, less than a minute to do a new thumbnail for the video. But I'm really wanting to do more with marketing the Fast Action Fridays on Instagram. That's a different size thumbnail. And I haven't been taking time to create that. So I was like, what I want people to go away with, especially followers of mine, you're either new to starting or growing your business, or you've been at it a while and you're stumped, stuck, or stalled, either because you've run out of time to do the things that you do best, or money's a little tight, but time is tight too. And it's like, now I could be making more money if I had a little more time. So you got to look at that dynamic. What I like about our discussion today, Brooke, is it's a starting point, which is really the fast action tip today is don't wait until it's past the time you need to hire someone. Don't wait until you actually have the money in your mind and in your bank book that says, oh, I can hire somebody because I've got this cash coming in. Start the process now. So when that moment arrives, you can take advantage of it. And also, some of the tips we've done, people can implement themselves to save time on their own end and automate. Look at what you do every day. What do you do systematically that you could do more automated, right?
There are a lot of tools out there, Kat, that
Oh,
can help you just save so much time and energy behind everything that you do.
and not all, and they're not all expensive. Some of the best ones are free, and you can look for great deals on some other ones, some lifetime deals. Like I've got Missing Letter, which I would never pay the price for the monthly fee to have it, but I got it, I don't know, 5 years ago on a lifetime deal, and it helps me automate that marketing aspect of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got time for one last tip. What do you want people to go away most with? What?
Start ugly.
Oh,
Just start. Because the problem with, when people get to me, they're already in pain. And I don't want you to be in pain. I mean, you're going to be. You're an entrepreneur. It is what it is. However, I don't want you to be there because this process doesn't happen overnight. If you are already in pain and you already don't have time, then you're not going to do what I need you to do in order to be able to outsource and to take some of this stuff off your plate. Right? So I quite literally, with most of my clients, I have to sit them down, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in my living room or whatever it is. I have to take their phones away. I have people like fly in from other states and stay with me for 2 or 3 days just so their regular life doesn't intrude on what we're trying to do. It's
right.
expensive.
I
Right?
love that. Start ugly. If you're trying to perfect a recording of detailing your standard operating procedures, if you're trying to perfect that, so it's, you're defeating the whole purpose. It's
Yeah.
in-house stuff. This isn't stuff. Sure, somebody may see it someday, but think of it this way. If you're going to hire someone to come and clean your house and you spend hours upon hours cleaning it first because you don't want them to see your mess in the first place, you've sort of defeated the purpose of hiring someone to come in and help you.
Yeah.
And
Just start.
just like you have, I have seen people say, oh, I can't do that because, I screwed up. Well, if it's a task that you do regularly and you don't like the recording you made the first time, record it the next time too, and record it the next time after that. And your delivery is going to get better. You're going to be more satisfied with the one that you save.
Absolutely.
For your system.
But just do it. Just make it happen because it is going to be so much easier if you do it 5 minutes at a time than having to sit down for hours doing 5-minute things.
Yeah. As always, my featured guest has a great free resource for you to take advantage of. Be sure to look down in the show notes, the description, if you're watching this on YouTube or in the blog post, you'll see the direct link for there. Take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Brooke, for being my guest today. And I want people to know that you and I had a discussion about possibly hiring some help directly from your team.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. And I am a huge fan of everything that you're doing. I love how you help your clients, and I love partnering with people who truly are heart-centered and want to make sure that not only who we are working with is making money, scaling their business, feeling successful in whatever that means, and can do it like a pro.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I do want people to know it doesn't take money to do a lot of the things that you think are holding you back. There are ways around that. And I know Brooke acknowledges this as well as I do. Sometimes not having money is the problem. So neither one of us are going to tell you, oh, you've got the money, you just don't want to spend it. We're not going to tell you that.
Nope. I buy Starbucks every single morning. It's a thing. And everybody tells me I shouldn't spend money on Starbucks. I should spend money on something else. But Starbucks is my thing.
It's your thing. Absolutely.
And if any of your guests, Kat, like I have a free 22-minute call. It's called, Hey, Brooke, I have a question. And I want to give that to all of your listeners.
Oh,
so I
great.
will give you that direct link. And then from there, when you come on, ask me your question, whatever it is, and I will have some extra freebies based on exactly what you need in your business based on your question.
That's awesome and very generous of you, Brooke. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com, closing another episode of Fast Action Fridays. Remember to join me next time when I will have another great guest. Until then, remember to keep rocking your unique path to success. Bye-bye.